The Argus IS, or the Autonomous Real-Time Ground Ubiquitous Surveillance Imaging System, this DARPA project contracted to BAE Systems aimed to image an area at such high detail and frame rate that it could collect pattern-of-life data that specifically tracked individuals within the sensor field. What makes the concept so ominously powerful is the 1.8 gigapixel imaging sensor at its core. Derived from smartphone camera technology, the sensor is made from 4 lenses and 368 5-megapixel CMOS imaging sensors. When compared to Constant Hawk, Argus IS is specifically designed to cover a much narrower field of view of around 16 kilometers or about 10 miles. When paired with such a dense sensor, each pixel can resolve down to just 2 millimeters of detail, making it possible to identify faces, clothing, defining features such as hairstyles, body shapes and tattoos, and even read text. Much like with Constant Hawk, a large part of Argus IS's development revolved around processing the immense quantities of data produced. Operating at a base capture rate of 15 frames a second, the system generates almost 21 terabytes of color imagery every second. Because Argus IS is specifically designed for tracking, a processing system derived from the Constant Hawk project called Persistix was developed. Persistix similarly only capture and process changes that occur within the viewing area, while building a chronological database of imagery. Argus IS, however, takes this capability even further, with the ability to actively track up to 65 different objects purely from optically defining signatures, building a searchable timeline of movement for the object. Because this tracking can be done backwards in time, the system now becomes a powerful tool for forensic investigators and intelligence analysis of patterned human behavior. Argus IS completed its initial round of flight testing in early 2010 aboard a Black Hawk helicopter, and by 2014, it had achieved operational capability, with variants of its principal design being adopted to other scaled-down wide-area motion imagery platforms. At present, Argus IS and its derivative variants have been used operationally throughout the world aboard large and small UAVs, aerostats, and manned aircraft, though the extent of its use and advances made to the system have been kept from the public since 2016. It's speculated that with present computing power, the ability to generate detailed 3D models for areas of interest from a combination of imagery and complementing LiDAR instruments are now possible and may be part of Argus IS's current capability. As of February 2023, the top tier of consumer CMOS imaging sensor manufacturers all produce 120 megapixel range sensors, with 200 megapixel sensors expected on the horizon. These sensors are also supported by the powerful imaging processing capabilities of today's ARM-based processors alongside dense but efficient low-cost storage technologies. Today, the capabilities of the initial Constant Hawk system could easily be matched for a tiny fraction of that program's cost in a far smaller, resilient, and flexible package. From this, it could be speculated a system not disclosed to the public would conceptually offer unnervingly unprecedented levels of resolution and capability, particularly if the technology migrates from military to civilian law enforcement. Beyond civil liberty concerns, the simple fact that a scaled-down but effective wide-area motion imagery system can now easily be created inexpensively from consumer hardware poses a new threat.
Have you ever stood and stared at it, marveled at its beauty, its genius? Billions of people just living out their lives, oblivious.
Escape to Farmville 3 and bring your farm to life like never before.
I think that the biggest question, maybe in economics and politics of the coming decades, will be what to do with all these useless people. The problem is more boredom and what to do with them, and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games as a solution for more. It's already happening.